An apocalyptic scene in Southern California. Valleys filled with smoke, flames taking over hillsides as at least 4 major wildfires burn out of control.
The recent wildfires ravaging Southern California have transcended their status as a mere environmental crisis.
It's Armageddon. I'm driving through a war zone right now and I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. I'm shocked.
The winds also kept firefighters from launching water-dropping helicopters.
Evolving into a complex geopolitical challenge affecting hundreds of thousands of lives. Palisades, Eaton, and Hearst fires have not only scarred the landscape, but also have ignited a fierce debate about climate change, governance, and America's global standing. These fires, which have forced the evacuation of over 160,000 plus residents and destroying approximately 12,000 structures, are more than just a local catastrophe, spreading through large parts of California. Everything from strong winds fueling the flame, power line failures, and local crazed arsonists have turned the city on its head as everyone figures out how to handle these flames. Whether you think this is about climate change or the mismanagement of governing power, something needs to be done to reduce these events moving forward the best we can as a nation. The economic impact of these wildfires is staggering, with estimates suggesting losses between $150 and $250 billion. Let's tear back the layers to see how we got to this point. These astronomical figures not only affect California's economy, but also have ripple effects on the national economy. The destruction in affluent neighborhoods like Pacific Palisades and the Hollywood Hills sends a powerful message about the indiscriminate nature of climate-related disasters. This vulnerability could potentially affect international perceptions of the United States, particularly in terms of its ability to protect its citizens and maintain economic stability in the face of environmental challenges, similar to the disasters we see in Puerto Rico.
Hurricane Maria slamming into the island, and as you heard, one official saying the island is destroyed.
And Florida with flooding due to the hurricane season.
Look at these winds, courtesy Tropical Storm.
The combination of climate change, urban expansion into wildland areas, and forest management practices has intensified the wildfire threat. In the early 1900s, California adopted a policy of aggressive fire suppression, following the national trend set by the U.S. Forest Service. By the 1970s and 80s, fire ecologists began to recognize the ecological importance of periodic fires. This led to a gradual shift in policy towards more controlled burns and forest thinning.
Behavior assessment team. And what we were trying to do was go out ahead of the fires, and we set up heat-triggered video cameras. They are stainless steel boxes.
However, implementation of these practices remained limited due to fund constraints and public concerns about smoke and fire escape. The turn of the century marked a significant escalation in California's wildfire crisis. Major fire events like the 2003 Cedar Fire in San Diego County and the 2007 Witch Fire highlighted the growing threat to urban areas. In 2018, Senate Bill 901 allocated $1 billion over 5 years for forest management and fire prevention efforts. The following year, in 2019, launched an emergency proclamation. Governor Newsom issued the proclamation to fast-track 35 critical fuel reduction projects to protect the vulnerable communities. 2020 through 2021 was all about budget increases. The state significantly increased its wildfire prevention budget, allocating another $1.5 billion for wildfire resilience programs. 2021 also brought the Wildfire and Forest Resilience Action Plan, a comprehensive plan aimed to expand the use of prescribed fire, improve forest health, and increase community protection as people naturally expanded throughout the state in highly exposed areas. All this, at face value, looks great and sounds even better. We can obviously see strides to improve and do better, but what happened? Under Governor Newsom's leadership, California has intensified its efforts to combat wildfires and strengthen its relationship with the federal government. Recently, President Biden approved a major disaster declaration for California, allowing immediate access to federal funds and resources for wildlife responses and recovery.
Anything and everything as long as it takes to contain these fires and help reconstruct, make sure that they're back to normal.
If you're enjoying this video and the awesome content, make sure to like and subscribe. All your support helps us keep the channel going and helps us keep bringing you amazing content. Okay, you're subscribed. Now let's get back to the video. This includes investments in new firefighting equipment, personnel, and forest management projects. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, also known as CAL FIRE, has implemented 35 priority projects to reduce wildfire risk in vulnerable communities. A lot of the same projects Newsom issued. Despite these efforts, critics argue that the state's response has been insufficient. Some argue that critical forest management projects have been delayed due to bureaucratic red tape and environmental regulation. While wildfire prevention budgets have increased, some contend that more funds should be directed towards proactive measures rather than firefighting resources. Critics also point to insufficient investments in water infrastructure, which was shown to be a big problem in firefighting efforts in some areas. In a troubling development that has compounded the wildfire crisis, several major insurance companies have begun pulling out of high-risk areas in California. State Farm, the largest home insurance company in the state, announced in March 2024 that it would discontinue coverage for 72,000 homes and apartment policies. Other major insurers, including Allstate, Farmers, and USAA, have also curbed new policy applications in California. This exodus of insurers has left many homeowners vulnerable, particularly those in areas prone to wildfires.
History. Before all of this happened, insurance companies had been quietly declining to renew policies for homeowners. Now in 2020,
the timing of these withdrawals, coming shortly before the outbreak of the current fires, has raised some questions about the industry's risk assessment practices and its commitment to serving California's residents. The economic fallout from the California wildfires extends far beyond the immediate destruction of property. These fires have dealt a severe blow to multiple sectors of the state's economy, with repercussions that will likely be felt for years to come. The California wildfires bear striking similarities to the recent devastating fires in Hawaii, particularly on the island of Maui. Both events underscored the increasing risk of wildfires in unexpected places due to climate anomalies and changes. In Hawaii, the average area burned by wildfires has increased by 400% over the last century. This parallel emphasizes the global nature of the wildfire threat and the need for comprehensive climate adaptation strategies. The destruction of thousands of homes, particularly in high-value areas, has sent shockwaves through California's already volatile housing market. The loss of housing stock is likely to exacerbate the state's ongoing housing crisis, potentially driving up prices in unaffected areas and displacing residents. The wildfires have also exposed the vulnerabilities in the insurance market, with many residents in high-risk areas reporting rejected claims. California's housing market has long been one of the most expensive in the nation, but recent years have seen the situation reach critical levels. In comparison to other major states, California's housing costs are astronomical. While the median home price in Texas hovers over $300,000 and in Florida around $400,000, California's median home price has soared past $800,000. This housing crisis has contributed to a significant population shift. For the first time in its history, California experienced a net population loss in 2020, a trend that has continued in recent years. Many Californians are relocating to states like Texas, Arizona, and Nevada, where housing is more affordable and job opportunities are plentiful.
Officials believe the past 3 years could end up as the driest in
California's water crisis has been a persistent issue, but recent months have seen the situation deteriorate further. The state has experienced one of its driest periods on record in the last months of 2024, with many reservoirs at critical low levels. Although the data shows the major reservoirs were at least at or above historic levels when the fires started breaking out. 2/3 of LA County's water comes from sources outside of LA, more specifically the Colorado River Aqueduct and the California Aqueduct. This water scarcity has had far-reaching impacts from agricultural production in the Central Valley to urban water use restrictions in major cities. The state's water management policies have come under fire, with critics arguing that environmental regulations have prioritized wetland preservation over water storage and distribution for human use. California's agricultural sector, a cornerstone of the state's economy and a significant contributor to the national food supply, faces severe challenges due to the wildfires. The fires have not only destroyed crops and livestock, but have also contaminated soil and water sources, potentially affecting future harvests. The smoke from the fires can damage crops, even in areas not directly threatened by flames, leading to reduced yields and quality. The tourism industry, a vital component of California's economy, has been hit hard as well. Iconic destinations like Malibu and the Hollywood Hills have been directly impacted, leading to cancellations and a natural decline in visitor numbers. The long-term damage to California's image as a desirable tourist destination could have lasting effects. California has implemented numerous policies aimed at combating climate change, including ambitious renewable energy targets and strict emission standards. However, the intensity and frequency of these wildfires highlight the need for more comprehensive and aggressive action. The state's efforts to improve forest management and create fire-resistant communities are steps in the right direction, but they also reveal the complexities of balancing environmental protection with human habitation in fire-prone areas. 4 separate lawsuits so far, some represented by the same attorneys, are making the same allegations of negligence, violations of public health and utility codes, among others. They're basically saying,
so we're looking at least 4 separate lawsuits.
Yeah, at least 4 so far, because there could be more in the future. But each one of the lawsuits, some represented by the same attorneys, are making the same allegations of negligence, violations of public health and utility codes, among others. They're basically saying that SCE, or the South California Edison Company, did not properly de-energize those above power lines above the Eaton Canyon. They did not maintain them in a way that could make them safe. Some of the lawsuits even saying they cut corners in order to save money, but ended up being a detriment to the community and causing these fires.